So from Sestrum, you then go around the top of the desert and you then come to the coast at Swakopmund. Beautiful beaches. Most of them you can't swim at. So you don't go to, normally a seaside town, beautiful sea, beautiful beaches, you think, you know, bikinis, ice cream, swimming, surfing. The water is really cold here. One year, what was the year we were there? They had the record warm temperature of the water. It was 14 degrees, and everybody was running into the sea to swim because it was the warmest it had been all year. 14 degrees. No way. But also you can see, this actually is a swimming beach here. So you can see the water. And as you go along here, there's riptide. And people drown every year swimming there. So it's not a swimming beach, it's a pretty beach. The town itself is growing, quite nicely developed. It's a typical seaside town in a lot of other ways. You go there for the street cafes, the ice cream, and the activities. But you can already see, I've got my rulers today, the desert in the background. And you'll see it more as we swing round. And literally you're looking at the whole of Swakopmund there. The actual town centre of Swakopmund is this section here. So that's actually the centre of Swakopmund, where all the cafes and restaurants are. So it's not a very big town, and it's got a nice little feel to it. It's got a nice waterfront, lots of palm trees. You can walk along the front. You can admire the beach from your hoodie, eating an ice cream. But you can see how close the desert is. This is the top of the Namib Desert here. Right, and this is the river that it's named after, the Swakop River, that floods out there. So that's a barrier between the town and the desert. And you can hopefully just see. Yeah, that's very true, yes. When we say river in Namibia, we don't necessarily mean water. It's where there could be water sometimes, but generally it's sand. That is the main road out of Swakopmund. Which is a bit peculiar because nobody could work out why they built a lighthouse at Swakopmund because there's no harbour. And there's no boats because there's no place to Swakopmund. And there's lighthouse either north and south. So why somebody bought a lighthouse here, built a lighthouse here, nobody's really sure. This is the Namib Desert, and this is the bridge over the Swakop riverbed from town. That's the only road south out of town. So out of Swakopmund, there's that first road I showed you, which is the road that goes to Windhoek. You go over this bridge, then round the desert down to Sestrum. That's the only road south. Then the only other road out of Swakopmund town is the one that goes north, that then goes up Skeleton Coast. So there's only 3 roads outside the town. This actually goes to Walvis Bay and then down to the desert. So they're the only 3 approaches and ways to get in and out of Swakopmund. And then we're onto the beachfront. You can see how close the desert is here.
What is the town? You said before, but how does the town get their fresh water?
There is actually water from, there is a water source behind Swakopmund, but along the coast, a lot of the, like at Sandwich Harbour, a lot of the underwater fresh water that runs across Namibia pops up around this area. So they actually can drill down and tap into fresh water in this area better than a lot of other places. But a lot of it is still also contaminated by the sea. So, and they have a pier. It's not for boats on, this is just to go and walk down. You can get blown down here. This is on a nice clear day. You can see how nice and calm the sea is. And you can walk to the end and get attacked by seagulls if you're having chips. But there's an ice cream place there, and there's a place to eat there, and it is actually quite beautiful. It's particularly nice in the evenings because the whole of the coast, the wind blows off the sea onto the land during the day, bringing the cold with it, and off the desert onto the sea during the night. So at night it's much more pleasant, and a lot of these restaurants are quite nice to sit in the evening. It's quite calm and not too windy. So that is Swakopmund, just a general view. Swakopmund town itself is a nice quiet town. It's not busy. That is the main street in Swakopmund. So there's 2 other streets where there's shops, but pretty much all the shops and cafes are on this one street. And there's all sorts of, there's craft centres, a lot of activities to do around Swakopmund that you can arrange in Swakopmund. And then they have these little nooks and crannies that have been made like this, which are just like little street cafes serving some snacks, different types of food, little boutique places, and that's what Swakopmund is like. It's a little bit like a miniaturized Cape Town, where you've got that sort of feel to it, but in a much smaller scale. And it's quite nice. And of course these things, they've built them so they're sheltered from the wind, so you can sit in there in the sun, have your afternoon tea and cakes. And it's very pleasant, souvenirs, boutique shops. And you can see a lot of the architecture is very un-Namibian. It's a German style. Yeah, it's like somebody got a German town from Bavaria and stuck it between the desert and the sea in Namibia. Because that's how it was built originally by the Germans. So that's Swakopmund. Any questions on Swakop? Because we're now going to go to... Sorry? Oh my goodness. Okay, there's a huge list of activities you can do at Swakopmund. You've obviously got water-based activities, because Swakopmund and Walvis, we tend to clump together. They're 30 kilometres apart on the coast, joined by a tar road. But a lot of the activities at Swakopmund actually take place at Walvis Bay. So water-based, you've got dolphin tours, seal tours, whale spotting, fishing, penguin tours, kite surfing, sandboarding, skydiving, quad tours, you can do camel rides, quad board tours into the desert tours. Sandwich Harbour you do from Walvis Bay, which is, we're just about to come to Sandwich Harbour. There's lots of activities. So if a lot of people who want to do lots of activities, especially if you've got young families, Swakopmund's quite a good place to go, because you can keep them occupied. But of course, you have to pay for them all as well. So. But there is a lot to do in the Swakopmund area. Most people put Swakopmund as a stopover between the desert and Skeleton Coast or Damaraland. And most of them think, oh, I could have spent another day or two there. Either just recovering, because it's a bit cooler, or just enjoying some of the activities.